So who do you think the biggest challenges will be as we look ahead at the schedule for the season?
Well, the Packers. I, I I covered the Bears in the draft, Suze, and I did a report on just the last 10 years. Forget anything before that, but the last 10 seasons. And I think the Bears have like 2 wins in that span against Green Bay. I don't quote me on that because I don't have all my numbers with me, but they have to beat in week. What are we looking at here?
Let's see.
Week where are they? I'm trying to circle the Packers in
Week
here.
11.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because I like the way it starts for them against Tennessee. I think that's a game for Chicago at home. All the luster and allure is going to be there. But I was kind of disappointment. Like last year, we had the Packers week 1 and the last week of the season, I think it was, and now we got to wait for it. But really no divisional games there in the early onslaught for Chicago. But those are all, games in which I think Houston, that's a really tough place
Really
to
interesting
go.
one. I was about to go there. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
I
Sunday
think that's
nighter.
a hard one. Yeah, and I covered a couple Texans games last year, Susie, and CJ Stroud has that city in the palm of his hand right now, and rightfully so. Indianapolis, there in Indiana, I think that's going to be a tough one too, because Anthony Richardson, he could be, or he might just be the most, he was injured all of last season, but he's the most alluring player to me because he was so good coming out in terms of all the things that you want in the position, like the leadership, the work ethic, the way his teammates just adore him, but then his prowess and what he can do on the field. He's the quarterback I cannot wait to see this year, because in talking to Chris Ballard at the Combine, and that guy is slinging it around and it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just looking ahead at week 11, week 12, Minnesota, week 13 at Detroit, week 14 at San Francisco, week 15 at Minnesota, then Detroit. I mean, that is a banger of a series right there. I mean, that is just going to be a relentless challenge for a young quarterback.
It is, but I would rather see that, Susie, at the back end of the schedule for Caleb Williams than I would at the start. And I think that's favorable, especially with the bye there in week 7, because he needs time. I mean, this is going to be a journey, to really develop with Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze and DJ Moore and the backfield, DeAndre Swift, the tight ends, because those tight ends, we think of Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett, they're really going to be used heavily in this scheme because Shane Waldron loves to use tight ends in an array of personnel groupings. We saw how creative he was in Seattle with the tight ends, sometimes using a couple of them out of the backfield on a certain alignment. So again, getting the language, getting that chemistry, and making it seamless for him, get the ball out. But early in the season, I think it favors Caleb Williams because it's no slight on those other teams. But when you're talking about Detroit and Green Bay and the division on the back end, plus San Francisco, as you alluded to, that's a really tough stretch. But hopefully he learns after coming out of the bye in week 8.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.